Straight to my top focus this evening, the big political story which is still continuing to keep the politics in the state of Punjab on the boil. No end to the bitter fight between Navjot Singh Sidhu and Captain Amarinder Singh. Newly appointed Punjab Congress Committee Chief Navjot Singh Sidhu has rejected Captain's demand for a public apology. This is what sources close to Sidhu are telling India Today. Now, this over Sidhu's tweets against Chief Minister Amarinder Singh. Now, this could potentially, ladies and gentlemen, completely derail the truce formula which has been worked out by the High Command. Congress MLA from Jalandhar Kant and close aide of Navjot Singh Sidhu, Pawan Singh, launched a scathing attack on Captain Amarinder Singh. He said if somebody has to apologize, it should be Chief Minister because he failed to fulfill the promises made to the people. Earlier, Amarinder supporters turned adversary Cabinet Minister Sripad Rajinder Singh Bajwa had advised Captain to forgive Sidhu over his tweets. Captain, while meeting Congress Punjab in charge Harish Rawat on Saturday, had said Navjot Singh Sidhu had made 150 derogatory tweets questioning and embarrassing the functioning of Punjab Congress and the government. He also refused to meet Sidhu unless he tendered a public apology. Meanwhile, Sidhu faced farmers' anger when he was visiting Katkar Kalan near Nawa Shahar. The protesters belong to the Kirti Kisan Union shouted slogans against Sidhu and showed him black flags. Sidhu went to the Katkar Kalan to pay respects to martyr Shahid Bhagat Singh.
ऐसे कई दर्जन OSD सलाहकार बनाने के बाद अब कांग्रेस ने लगभग आधा दर्जन प्रेसिडेंट पंजाब के बनाए हैं। कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह की सरकार की नाकामी सरेआम हो गई। कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह और कांग्रेस, आ गया है सिद्धू, अब होगी कॉमेडी सर्कस और आप ठोकते रहना ताली। अब है कॉमेडी सर्कस की सरकार।
Meanwhile, Sidhu, upon his arrival to the holy city of Amritsar, received a huge welcome from his supporters. This is Navjot Singh Sidhu's home turf. This was his first visit to the city after being made the PCC chief.
Newly appointed Punjab Congress Committee Chief Navjot Singh Sidhu is visiting a holy city Amritsar today. He will be on a two-day visit to Amritsar. Today, he will be taking part in a road show which is being organized by his supporters in Amritsar. This is the entry gate of Amritsar where we can see Sidhu's supporters holding Congress flags. They are shouting slogans in his favor. They are eagerly waiting for Navjot Singh Sidhu from quite some time. Though heavy rainfall is also taking place in and around Amritsar. You can see on my right side, supporters are also arranged from supporters are holding Congress flags and they are eagerly waiting for Navjot Singh Sidhu who started his journey early in the morning. Now he's meeting people at various places but also face the anger of protesting farmers who belong to Kirti Kisan Union. They shouted slogans against Navjot Singh Sidhu and even showed black flags to him and said that Navjot Singh Sidhu has not raised their issues so far. They've been protesting from a year or so.
Let me now bring in my colleague Manjeet Sehgal, who's joining us with more details on this story. Manjeet, just give us a sense because whatever is happening right now in Punjab still has the potential to completely derail the truce formula which was arrived by the Gandhis. Amarinder Singh, Captain Amarinder Singh is not happy. The Chief Minister is not spoken publicly about this. Navjot Singh Sidhu is making these, huge show of strength, public kind of these programs which he's trying to portray himself as the man who is now in command as far as Congress of Punjab Congress is concerned. How do you see this and what are you picking up from the captain's camp?
Well, Ankit, as far as the application formula is concerned, Captain Amarinder Singh in his camp is still not on board with the party high command, which has elevated Navjot Singh Sidhu as the new PCC chief. Remember, Captain Amarinder Singh has not congratulated Navjot Singh Sidhu. Even after 3 days, he was announced the new PCC chief. captain had also categorically told the party high command that he will not meet Navjot Singh Sidhu if he fails to tender a public apology for his 150 tweets which were derogatory in nature, in which functioning of the Chief Minister was questioned and embarrassment was caused to the Congress government in Punjab. But so far, Navjot Singh Sidhu has not spoken even a single word about the apology, and his camp is also against that Navjot Singh Sidhu should not tender any apology, because if someone has to tender any apology, that is the Chief Minister, which has failed to fulfill the poll promises. So the dissidence still continues, but on the other, Navjot Singh Sidhu's outreach continues. He is meeting dozens of Congress leaders and people from various walks of life during the last 3 days. So today he reached at his home turf in Amritsar, where he was welcomed
Manjeet, we saw that report that you brought to us of Navjot Singh Sidhu coming to Amritsar. Thank you so much at the moment for being with us. I want to move on, ladies and gentlemen, and the other